All right, everyone get ready, because today we are going deep into the world of Tyler Perry.
Oh, yeah.
And all his upcoming projects that he has coming out on Netflix in 2025.
I am excited.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So much to cover.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to see the variety of projects he has coming out.
Yeah. And you know what I think is so interesting about Tyler Perry is it's not just entertainment. You know what I mean? It's really, he's kind of built this space for himself where he's telling stories that resonate with a lot of people and especially Black audiences. And he's kind of sparking conversations and offering a lens into, you know, Black America.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's what makes this upcoming site of projects so interesting.
Yes.
Is that we're seeing that breadth, you know?
Yeah.
He's not just doing one type of story.
Totally.
And so let's start with, I think, the one that has everyone talking, which is Medea's Destination Wedding.
Good
I mean, come on.
Who doesn't love Madea?
I know, right? And
a destination wedding. Oh, the chaos.
I know.
I can just imagine.
Exactly. It's so interesting because I think he uses Madea, Tyler Perry uses Madea, as a way to tackle those tricky family dynamics. And that's something that I know you are interested in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in terms of the generational conflicts and different ways that families interact. And I just think about this whole family coming together in the Bahamas, all with their own baggage, all with their own expectations. And then you put Madea in the mix.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like the perfect recipe for those classic Madea moments where she's calling everyone out on their nonsense, but also delivering those lessons about family and love.
Well, and I mean, and it's so interesting, too, because you were talking about how much you loved Madea Homecoming on Netflix and how it really addressed some important issues around acceptance and forgiveness. And so now to see this family going to the Bahamas and they only have 2 weeks to plan this wedding.
Oh, my goodness.
Can you even imagine?
The pressure, like Madea and this family in just a pressure cooker.
It's a clever setup for some high-stakes comedy.
Absolutely.
But, you know, Tyler Perry is not just about the laughs.
Well.
You know, you were talking about how much you like his dramas. And Straw is a really good example, I think, of his work in that genre, starring Taraji P. Henson. And
he's fantastic.
If you've seen her in anything like Empire or Hidden Figures, you know, she just brings this intensity to all of her roles.
Yeah. And in this, she is playing a single mother who is facing this really mysterious situation.
Oh, interesting.
They haven't really given us too many details about what's happening in the plot yet.
Right.
But they are calling it a tense and emotional roller coaster.
It just makes you wonder, what kind of mystery is he cooking up? You know, because we know he has this knack for exploring those complex characters and those tensions that can really simmer beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives.
Right. Yeah. And then on top of that, he has this incredible supporting cast.
Yes. He's got Sherry Shepherd, Tiana Taylor, Glenn Turman.
I mean, come on.
Like, he knows how to assemble an amazing group of actors. It's a powerhouse ensemble.
It is. And, you know, you were talking about before we started recording about how much you loved his ability to create those really strong ensemble casts.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like he's using this dynamic to explore these themes of secrets, betrayal, maybe even redemption. So it'll be really interesting to see how he balances the drama with those signature comedic moments.
That's what I'm really curious about, is how much humor.
Yes.
Because we know it's going to be dramatic.
Right.
But how much he's going to lighten it up.
Right, exactly. Because he can make us laugh, but he's not afraid to tackle some of those
he's not.
tough issues head on.
Absolutely. And speaking of unique concepts, let's talk about R&B.
Okay.
Which is a modern reimagining of the biblical story of Ruth and Boaz. I know. And so this was something that you were really interested in, his kind of forays into biblical adaptations.
Yeah, and I just think the title itself is so clever.
I know, right?
Because it's R&B, the music, but it's also Ruth and Boaz. It's like this really
clever little play on words.
I know, I love it.
So it seems like he's really leaning into that musical side.
Yes.
Which we've seen throughout his career in different ways. But I think what's so interesting about this is that he's taking a story that's so steeped in tradition.
Yes.
But he's giving it this modern twist.
Yeah.
And he's infusing it with romance and music. And using original music as well.
Wow.
And those contemporary themes that just resonate with audiences today.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, like, how is he going to approach this?
I know.
Is it a straight adaptation?
Right.
Or is he going to take some creative liberties?
Yeah.
Either way, I think it has the potential to be a really compelling love story, but also, you know, a thought-provoking commentary on faith and resilience.
Absolutely. And I think it's so great that he cast Soraya McNeil in it, who a lot of people will know.
Yes.
From her role in Empire.
Yes, I love her.
And she's got so much musical talent. So I think that just adds another layer of anticipation for this project.
It seems like he is putting together such an incredible team
of
people who can really bring this vision to life.
Yes.
And speaking of teams, let's shift gears to She the People.
Okay.
Which dives headfirst into the world of politics.
Oh, I'm excited about this one.
Yes.
And comedy, you know.
Oh, of course, of course.
Have that.
You know, you mentioned that you were really intrigued by how Tyler Perry tackles these social and political issues. And I think She the People is going to be a fascinating case study because it revolves around this diverse group of women navigating the world of politics. And, you know, knowing Tyler Perry, he's not going to shy away from those tough conversations about gender equality, racial justice, and, you know, the barriers that women, especially women of color, face.
Absolutely. And I'm really excited to see how he's going to use humor to tackle those complex themes.
It's a delicate balance, but it seems like he has really mastered it.
He has. He has. And what's so interesting to me, too, is that he's chosen to focus on this group of women for this particular story. And I know that you were talking about how much you love the way he portrays strong female characters.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I think this is going to be particularly interesting for you to kind of dissect.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see, like, what are the dynamics within this group? You know, are they allies? Are they rivals?
They're working together.
How do they kind of navigate that really cutthroat world of politics while staying true to their values?
Yeah, there's so much potential there for both humor and drama.
Yes, it's a rich landscape for storytelling.
It is. It is. And it speaks to his commitment to showcasing these diverse voices and perspectives.
Totally. He's not just telling one type of story.
No.
He's constantly expanding his reach. Exploring these new territories.
Yes, absolutely. And that brings us to a Jasmine's Blues, which seems to be a little bit of a departure from his usual style.
Interesting.
This is a period drama set in the Deep South.
Oh, wow.
And it just sounds like it's going to be a real emotional gut punch.
Interesting. You mentioned that you are really drawn to his more dramatic work.
Yes.
And it sounds like this one's going to kind of dive headfirst into some of those heavier themes, you know? Like racism, social injustice, the weight of family secrets. But what's so interesting is that this is actually a story that he wrote over 25 years ago.
Wow.
This has been a passion project of his.
Oh, I love that.
For a long time. And it's finally coming to fruition.
I know. It's so cool when you see a filmmaker who's been holding on to a story for so long.
I know.
To finally kind of see it realized.
It must be really special to him.
It must be. It must be. And I think it's a testament to his dedication. And the depth of his creative vision.
Absolutely.
And the fact that it's also getting a limited theatrical release before it hits Netflix shows that he really believes in the power of this story to connect with audiences on a larger scale.
Yes.
It's not just a streaming project.
Right.
You know,
it's an experience.
It's an experience. I can't wait to see it.
Me too.
And, you know, speaking of significance, you know, we've talked about all these different projects. And I want to kind of circle back to his overall impact on the entertainment landscape. And I know you've done a lot of research on his career.
I have.
What stands out to you as his most lasting contribution?
You know, it's hard to pinpoint just one thing.
Right.
But I think his unwavering commitment to representation, particularly for Black Americans, is really at the heart of it all. You know, he's created this space where Black stories, Black characters, Black talent are front and center. And he's done it on his own terms. You know, he built his own studio, Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta, which has become this hub for Black creativity and just a symbol of empowerment.
And it's not just about creating opportunities.
Right.
It's about challenging those stereotypes and presenting those multidimensional characters that really defy expectations.
Yeah, his characters are flawed.
Yes.
They make mistakes.
Right.
They struggle, but they also triumph.
Yes.
They're relatable.
Yes.
They're human.
They are. And that's what makes them so compelling.
Exactly. And I think it's especially significant when we consider
Yes.
the historical context of Black representation in media.
Right.
Where, stereotypes often painted Black characters as these very one-dimensional figures, and lacking that depth and complexity.
Right.
And I think his work is actively challenging those stereotypes by showcasing that multifaceted nature of Black identity.
It's not a monolith.
Exactly. They're mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, lovers, dreamers, fighters.
Yes.
Everything in between.
It's the full human experience.
Yes, and they're not defined by their circumstances.
Right.
They're defined by their humanity.
Yes, and that is a powerful message to send. Especially to younger generations who are looking for
those role models.
Relatable role models,
It's like it's okay to be strong and vulnerable.
Yes.
It's okay to
embrace all parts of yourself.
Embrace all parts of yourself.
Yes, and it's a message that I think resonates far beyond the screen, It's about empowering individuals to embrace their own complexities.
Yes.
And challenge the expectations that society might place upon them.
It's a reminder that storytelling can be such a powerful tool for social change.
Absolutely.
And by showcasing those diverse voices and those different experiences, he's helping to create a more inclusive and understanding world.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into the world of Tyler Perry, I'm left feeling incredibly excited about what the future holds for him, We've explored his upcoming projects, his unique storytelling style, his lasting impact on representation.
Absolutely. We've talked about his ability to blend the humor and social commentary, his commitment to showcasing that Black talent, and his potential for global expansion.
But perhaps most importantly, I think we've witnessed the power of his vision.
Yes.
To create change, to spark conversations, and to remind us that stories have the power to connect us all.
Absolutely. He's a force to be reckoned with.
He is.
And I have a feeling that we're just beginning to see.
I think so, too.
The scope of his influence.
Yeah. And for you, dear listener, I hope this deep dive has provided you with some new insights into the work of Tyler Perry. And has sparked some thought-provoking questions about the role of entertainment in shaping our understanding of the world around us.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep an open mind.
I love that.
The world of storytelling is vast.
Yes.
It's ever-evolving, and with visionaries like Tyler Perry leading the way, the future is full of possibility.
I think you're absolutely right. Yeah. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From Medea's hilarious antics to the thought-provoking themes of She the People and the emotional depth of A Jazzman's Blues.
Yes, his range is incredible.
It is.
We've talked about his impact on representation, his entrepreneurial spirit, and his potential for global expansion. But before we wrap up this depth dive, there's one more aspect of Tyler Perry's work that I think we need to address. It's something that you specifically highlighted in your research.
Okay.
And it's a question that's been lingering in my mind throughout this whole conversation.
Oh, I'm intrigued. What is it?
Well, you pointed out this really interesting observation that while his characters often embody resilience and strength, they also grapple with these very real vulnerabilities.
Yes.
And I'm curious to hear your take on how he navigates that balance between strength and vulnerability, especially in a cultural landscape that sometimes expects Black characters to be portrayed as solely strong or solely struggling.
Right, yeah.
How do you see him kind of walking that line?
That's such a good question. And it's something that I think he handles so well.
Yes.
Because these characters, they're not superheroes.
Right.
They're human beings. And so they experience that full spectrum of emotions. They might be strong in the face of adversity.
Right.
But they also allow themselves to be vulnerable.
Yes.
To break down, to show their scars.
It's that honesty.
Yes.
That willingness to show the full picture, the human experience that allows the audience to connect with them on a deeper level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's particularly significant, like you said, when we consider the historical context of Black representation in media, where so often Black characters were portrayed as these one-dimensional figures.
Exactly.
Who lack that depth and complexity.
Yeah, and he's really challenging those stereotypes.
He is.
By showcasing, you know, the multifaceted nature of Black identity.
Yes, his characters are so well-rounded.
They are, you know.
It's not just one thing.
It's not just one.
It's like you were saying, they're mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, lovers.
Yeah.
Dreamers, fighters, they're everything.
Everything. They're everything.
And they're not defined by their circumstances.
Yeah. They're defined by
their humanity.
Their humanity. And that's what I think is so powerful about his work.
And that's such a powerful message to send.
Yes.
You know, especially to younger generations.
Yes.
Who are looking for those relatable role models.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, it's like, it's okay to be strong and vulnerable.
Yes.
It's okay to embrace all parts of yourself.
Yes, and it's a message that resonates, I think, far beyond the screen.
It does.
You know? It's about empowering individuals to embrace their own complexities.
Yes.
And to challenge those expectations that society might place upon them.
And it's a reminder that storytelling can be a powerful tool for social change.
Absolutely.
And by showcasing those diverse voices and those different experiences, he's really helping to create a more inclusive and understanding world.
Yes. And I think by partnering with Netflix, he's now reaching a global audience, which amplifies that impact even further.
It really does. It's just mind-boggling to think about the reach that he now has.
I know.
And it makes you wonder, what's next for Tyler Perry?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question.
I know he's already achieved so much.
He has.
But it just feels like he's just getting started.
There's that sense of momentum, you know. It's like he's building towards something even bigger.
Absolutely. And, you know, you were talking in your notes about how you were really curious.
Yes.
About the possibility of him expanding beyond the U.S.
Yes.
Could we see Tyler Perry films set in other parts of the world?
Imagine a Madea movie.
Oh, my God.
Set in like a bustling European marketplace.
I love that.
Or a drama that explores these cultural clashes in a vibrant South American city.
I would watch all of that.
Right.
I think it would be amazing.
It could open up this whole new chapter in his career.
It would.
You know, it would allow him to connect with audiences in these completely new ways.
Absolutely. And knowing Tyler Perry,
yes,
he'll find a way to make it both entertaining and meaningful.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it's not just about box office numbers.
Right.
It's about making a statement. Pushing boundaries.
Challenging the status quo.
Challenging the status quo. Yes.
And I think this potential move toward international collaboration could be a massive step forward in promoting understanding and empathy on a global scale.
It's exciting to think about.
I know, right? It speaks to his evolution as a storyteller.
Yes.
You know, he's not content to stay in one lane.
No.
He's constantly exploring new avenues.
Yes.
And pushing himself creatively.
It's inspiring to see.
It is.
And it makes you wonder what other surprises he has in store.
I know. What's next?
I know.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, exactly.
It's true. He's consistently used his platform to amplify marginalized voices and spark important conversations. And this potential move toward international collaboration could be a massive step forward in promoting understanding and empathy on a global scale.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. It's really exciting to think about all the possibilities.
It is.
And, you know, it really speaks to his evolution as a storyteller.
Yes.
He's not content to stay in one lane.
No.
He's constantly exploring new avenues and pushing himself creatively. It's inspiring to see.
It is. It makes you wonder what other surprises he has in store for us.
I know, right? Yeah. Well, we've covered a lot of ground here, from Medea's hilarious antics to the thought-provoking themes of She the People and the emotional depth of a Jasmine's blues.
It's true. His range is incredible.
It is.
You know, we've talked about his impact on representation, his entrepreneurial spirit, and his potential for global expansion. But before we wrap up this deep dive, there's one more aspect of Tyler Perry's work that I think we need to address.
Okay.
It's something that you specifically highlighted in your research.
Okay.
And it's a question that's been lingering in my mind throughout this whole conversation.
Oh. I'm intrigued. What is it? Oh. I'm intrigued. What is it?
Well, you pointed out this really interesting observation that while his characters often embody resilience and strength, they also grapple with these very real vulnerabilities.
Oh, wow.
And I'm curious to hear your take on how he navigates that balance between strength and vulnerability, especially in a cultural landscape that sometimes expects Black characters to be portrayed as solely strong or solely struggling.
Right, yeah.
How do you see him kind of walking that line?
That's such a good question, and it's something that I think he handles so well.
Yeah.
You know, because his characters, they're not superheroes.
Right.
They're human beings. And so they experience that full spectrum of emotions, you know. They might be strong in the face of adversity, but they also allow themselves to be vulnerable, to break down, to show their scars.
It's that honesty, that willingness to show the full picture of the human experience that allows the audience to connect with them on a deeper level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's particularly significant, like you said, when we consider the historical context of Black representation in media, where so often Black characters were portrayed as these one-dimensional figures who lack that depth and complexity.
Yeah. And he's really challenging those stereotypes.
He is.
By showcasing, you know, the multifaceted nature of Black identity.
Yes. His characters are so well-rounded.
They are, you know.
It's not just one thing.
It's not just one thing.
It's like you were saying. They're mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, lovers, dreamers, fighters. They're everything.
Everything. They're everything.
And they're not defined by their circumstance. They're defined by
humanity.
Their humanity.
Yes.
And that's what I think is so powerful about his work.
And that's such a powerful message to send.
Yes.
You know, especially to younger generations who are looking for those relatable role models.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, it's like, it's okay to be strong and vulnerable.
Yes.
It's okay to embrace all parts of yourself.
Yes. And it's a message that resonates, I think, far beyond the screen.
It does.
You know, it's about empowering individuals to embrace their own complexities.
Yes.
And to challenge those expectations that society might place upon them.
And it's a reminder that storytelling can be a powerful tool for social change.
Absolutely.
And by showcasing those diverse voices and those different experiences, he's really helping to create a more inclusive and understanding world.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfect note to end on.
It is.
You know, it's really inspiring to see someone like Tyler Perry using his platform to tell these stories that are both entertaining and thought-provoking.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we can all learn from.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive.
Of course, it was a pleasure.
And for you, dear listener, I hope you enjoyed this exploration of Tyler Perry's work.
Keep those conversations going.
Yes, keep those conversations going and keep an eye out for all of his incredible projects coming to Netflix in 2025.
It's going to be amazing.
Until next time.